My boyfriend ignored me in front of his friends and is telling me I need a less embarrassing job. I'm a nurse. Any advice? Just a little background. I have been dating my 28F boyfriend, 32M, for a little over 2 years. When we first started dating, he was so sweet and charming, always took me to nice restaurants and said the nicest things to me, and we moved in together after a year. He does sweet things all the time, like sometimes packs my lunches for work or drives me to work. I'm a nurse at a hospital in the next town over, writes sweet little notes and puts them in my coat pocket, and he even has taken me shopping for nice clothes. There have been lots of times that he has said things that have hurt me a little bit, but we've always been really good at communicating and moving through it. At least I felt that way until one day last month. He had some friends in town visiting, and we had them over, went out to dinner with them, and went to a party with some of their mutual friends that I didn't know, but I have always liked parties and meeting his friends, so I was excited. I bought a new dress for the night that I really liked, and was feeling really good about myself when the night started, but as it went on, I started feeling worse and worse. My BF ignored me the whole night. He didn't talk to me or look at me while we were out with everyone, and walked away to talk to other people at the party really quickly when we got there. When I went over to where he was, he still wouldn't really look at me, and walked away from me as soon as someone started talking to me and I was distracted. A couple times I put my hand on his shoulder or his arm, and he did not acknowledge me once. By the end of the night I was mortified and embarrassed. I tried to talk and be friendly with his friends and the other people that were there, but it was hurting my feelings quite a bit. We ended up going home after all of his closer friends left, and he finally talked to me, but just to ask if I could call us an Uber. I did. We went home, and he fell asleep so quickly while I sat in the living room trying to convince myself that it was all in my head. The next day was worse though. I brought up that I felt like he had been ignoring me the whole night, and he agreed with me and admitted me that he ignored me because he had been embarrassed by me when I told his friends where I went to college, a small liberal arts college in Nebraska, and that I was a nurse. He actually said just a nurse. It hadn't even been something that I would consider being embarrassed about, but he thought it was embarrassing because almost all of the other people at the party had gone to either Harvard, Stanford, or Brown and were in business or tech. I think I was the only person out of the 30 to 40 there who hadn't gone to one of those 3 schools. My boyfriend also went to Harvard. I told him that really hurt my feelings, not only because I had felt like he had been ignoring me and that I was right, but because I thought it was ridiculous to be embarrassed about my job. I'm really proud of my job, and I love it because I feel like I'm making a difference. He then told me that he feels like my job is a dead-end job and that jobs that you can't really progress in are kind of a waste. He then, for some reason, continued talking. He said that I could go back to school and be like the girls that were at the party. He said they had really impressive jobs and that I could too if I switched careers. I think this is absolutely ridiculous, and when I told my friends about it, they agreed. I always knew that I wanted to be a nurse, and I spent years going to school for it. I was proud of myself when I graduated, and after I started working at the hospital I work at now, I found it really fulfilling, even if it is stressful sometimes. I told him I was really happy with my job, and he said he didn't believe me because I complain about it all the time, and he referenced when someone threw up on me once and I told him about it when I got home. At the time I didn't even really feel like I was complaining, but when I think back I probably was, so I admitted he had a point about the complaining, but that I still do love my job. I then said I didn't feel like the other people there would look down on nursing as a bad job, and that some even said that it was a great job that must really make a difference in people's lives. He said they were just being nice and they probably don't really think that, which kind of further hurts my feelings because he knows the people there way better than I do, so he's probably right when he says that. He continued, and told me that he had hooked up with a couple of the girls that were there before we started dating, and that was why he had been ignoring me when he talked to them. This also hurt my feelings. One of them went to Harvard and the other went to Brown. They are both in business, and they were also both really nice to me, and talked to me more than my boyfriend did. Actually, at some point in the night when my BF was ignoring me and talking to someone else with his back turned, I went looking for one of those girls and was able to join the conversation she was having. One of them even complimented my dress that night, but my boyfriend said she was also probably just trying to be nice, implying that she didn't mean it. After a couple days he sort of came to his senses, realized that I was actually not okay with what he said, and wrote me some really long apology texts, but when we talk about it, it still is clear that he feels embarrassed by my job, and that he is still very attracted to those 2 girls he hooked up with before. He used the words very attracted to. He has never really even talked about me that way, i.e. he doesn't tell me I'm beautiful, pretty, that he likes my outfit, etc. Sometimes he will actually criticize my outfits or the way I look or how my hair is done, which didn't bother me too much before, but after this conversation, it really does. The same friends who threw that party invited us over to a Halloween party next weekend, and I'm not feeling great about it now. My BF now says that he won't treat me the same way as he did last time, and that the only reason he did was because he drunk and made a mistake, but I find that difficult to accept since he acted that way the whole night, which was many hours long, and then gave reason after reason for why he felt like the way he acted made sense to him. I'm wondering what I should do, because I do love him. We talk about getting married all the time, we both want kids, and we already live together. I'm really close to his family too. I just went and got coffee with his mom the other week. Another part of me is worried because this whole situation is kind of changing the way I see all of the past things he said that have hurt me that I have forgiven him for. They were always about my job, the way I looked, or dressed, or talked, or about what college I went to. Every time he says something wrong, he apologizes, but then explains why he said it, and looking back it almost feels like he's minimizing the issue and refusing to take accountability. I'm also usually not insecure. I'm really proud of the college and nursing school I went to. I met some of my best friends there, and I feel like I dress well and am attractive. But now I'm feeling bad about all of it, and I think it's because I'm actually realizing what my boyfriend thinks of me, and it kind of kills me to think he thinks so little of me. I told him this and he says that's not true and he thinks so highly of me, but I'm just not sure how to move past this feeling. He is my best friend, and I can't understand how he can say all of this and not see how it's hurting me. He keeps saying he doesn't understand why I'm reacting like this, while I honestly think I'm being very calm about it all. I don't know if I am blowing this out of proportion. I'm honestly feeling pretty bad about myself, and am still embarrassed by how he treated me in front of his friends and exes. I think what I really want is a way to make him see that what he is saying and doing is hurting me, and that how impressive I am to his friends shouldn't be a factor in how he treats me. When we aren't in front of people, he is usually pretty amazing and kind, with the occasional slip-up that we have always worked through, but this belittling behavior is becoming more frequent and I don't know how to make him stop, or how to deal with how it makes me feel when he does it. I would usually talk to my best friends about this, but they are telling me to leave him and move out. I see some of their points, but I really do love him and want to make it work. Also not sure about attending the Halloween party next weekend. I'm seriously considering backing out and having him go alone. Has anyone dealt with a similar situation before? Any advice would be greatly appreciated.